Imagine this. Your life isn't falling apart because you're irresponsible. It isn't collapsing because you're lazy, careless, or bad with money. It's falling apart because everything in modern life is objectively more expensive when you're broke. And I don't mean emotionally expensive. I don't mean it feels harder. I mean mathematically, structurally, relentlessly more expensive. Most people think poverty is just about low income, about not earning enough. But income is only half the story. The real killer isn't how much money comes in. It's how much extra money goes out just to survive. When you're broke, you don't get efficiency. You don't get flexibility. You don't get patience. You pay penalties. Being broke isn't a lack of discipline. It's a system designed to charge you more for everything. Let's start with something small and painfully realistic. A problem that costs $300 to fix today. Maybe it's your car making a strange noise. Maybe it's a tooth that hurts when you drink something cold. Maybe it's a small leak under the sink. You know you should deal with it now. But you don't have $300. You have $40. So you wait. You hope. You ignore it. You tell yourself it can wait. A few weeks or months later, that same problem doesn't cost $300 anymore. Now it costs $2,500. Now it's urgent. Now it's unavoidable. Now it hurts 10 times more than it ever should have. That isn't bad luck. That isn't karma. That isn't the universe punishing you. That's life without margin for error. When one small issue can't be absorbed, it explodes. Every tiny mistake becomes a financial emergency. We're constantly fed the same shallow advice. Just budget better. Stop buying coffee. Cancel Netflix. As if cutting out $12 a month somehow compensates for overdraft fees. As if it fixes high interest rates, inflated prices, and constant emergencies. That advice sounds smart, but it ignores how the system actually works. Not in theory, in real life. There's an old idea that explains this better than most finance gurus ever do. It didn't come from Wall Street. It didn't come from an economics textbook. It came from a fantasy novel. And somehow it explains real life perfectly. The idea is simple. If you have money, you buy things once. If you don't, you buy the same thing again. And again. And again. Cheap today, expensive forever. When you're broke, you're forced into short-term decisions. Not because you want to. Not because you're careless. Because you have no other option. You can't afford durability. You can't afford reliability. You can only afford what gets you through right now. Once you notice this, you see it everywhere. Groceries are an obvious example. If you have extra cash, you buy in bulk. You pay less per unit. You're set for weeks or months. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you buy the smallest pack. You pay more per item for the exact same product. Same food, same quality, different price because of cash flow. Insurance works the same way. If you can afford a higher deductible, your monthly payment is lower. If you can't, you pay more every single month. Interest rates work the same way too. Better credit and savings mean cheaper money. Bad credit and no savings mean expensive money. Subscription penalties, late fees, convenience fees, minimum balance charges. The system quietly rewards people who already have money and punishes people who don't. Banks make this painfully clear. If you have $10,000 in your account, the bank treats you like a VIP. No fees, no penalties, maybe even a few perks. But if you're struggling and you have $20, one small mistake costs you $35. That's not a service fee. That's a wealth extraction machine. And here's the part almost nobody talks about. Being broke doesn't just hurt your wallet, it damages your decision-making. Not morally, not because of character flaws. Biologically. Long-term thinking shuts down. Strategic planning disappears. You don't choose the best option. You choose the fastest relief. Whatever stops the pain right now. That's why people under financial stress make choices that look irrational. High-interest loans, bad deals, short-term fixes. It's not because they're stupid. It's because their mental bandwidth is gone. Scarcity shrinks your world until all you can see is today. You see this clearly with big purchases. Cars are the perfect example. People with money buy reliability. They buy something that will last. People without money buy urgency. They buy whatever gets them to work tomorrow. And urgency always comes with a price, higher interest, more repairs, more stress, more regret over time. Housing works the same way. Rent is 100% interest, no equity, no ownership, no escape. You're not just renting an apartment, you're renting stability. You're paying more every month for something you'll never own, while someone else builds wealth on top of your payments. The gap widens quietly, month after month. Poverty doesn't just take your money, it steals your time. Everything takes longer when you don't have resources. More waiting, more travel, more friction, more effort for basic tasks. And time is the one thing you can never earn back. By stealing your time, poverty steals your future earning potential. So no, the solution isn't getting rich. It's not crypto. It's not hustle culture. It's not stacking side hustles on top of exhaustion. The real goal is simpler. Stop paying penalties. Stop bleeding money in invisible ways. That's why the first emergency fund matters. Not because it's exciting, not because it makes you wealthy overnight, because it's a shield. It creates breathing room. It creates options. A flat tire becomes annoying, not life-ruining. A surprise bill becomes manageable, not catastrophic. Short-term comfort keeps you stuck. Long-term solutions set you free. Fix the leak. Don't decorate the sinking ship. Stop asking, can I afford this per month? Start asking, what will this cost me over my lifetime? That one question changes everything. Companies profit when you stay unaware, when you miss payments, when you replace cheap things over and over again. Understanding the math makes you a bad customer for them, and a dangerous one. Being poor is expensive, but staying confused is even more costly. Once you see the pattern, you stop blaming yourself. You stop thinking you're broken, and you start breaking the cycle. If this made something click, hit subscribe. We break financial traps here, not dreams.